No,
And,
maybe
and
I'll.
we're live right now, by the way, guys.
Well, we are. It's one of those things.
Yep, just started it. Let's get this ball rolling. It's almost midnight for Grant on the East
Intro.
Coast. So,
It's his own fault.
uh, yeah, crazy times. Richard and I tried to go to the NBA Summer League. Unfortunately, it was sold out.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I blame Richard for that because he told us we didn't need to buy tickets until we got there
Yeah.
that day.
Well, because every time I've ever gone, it's like one quarter full, maybe. And
well,
I
Lonzo
was-
Ball, baby. You gotta get the
yeah,
tickets for
those
that show.
stupid Lakers fans showing up to Summer League all of a sudden. Because it was like a cool thing because there was like no one there. And it was like the who's who of the NBA was just walking around. And yeah, we couldn't even scalp tickets outside. It was
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we were trying to go to the early games, and the Lakers were playing, I think, in the evening at the end.
Yeah.
And you could just tell the scalpers were holding on to their tickets until the Lakers were coming. Obviously, yeah, they'd make more money. Even on like second webs, like StubHub tickets were going for, I think, like 160, 200, 160 a pop. And they cost 25 if you actually bought them yourself. So they were making crazy money, and there was only a handful of tickets even available on StubHub. But overall, this was a very exciting NBA Summer League. I was probably watched more of this Summer League than I think I ever have on ESPN. Curious what your guys' thoughts were this year.
There's a couple people that was really impressive. One was Dennis Smith Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Second was Donovan Mitchell, and then Lonzo Ball. Common thread there is they're all guards, and so I think Summer League's a little bit heavy. It's easy to be, I think, a guard, especially a scoring guard in Summer League because it's not like anybody's playing an organized defense. It's kind of just your pickup game. I got this guy kind of defense. And I think the guys who can, like Ball or like Smith, who can change it up a little bit and put a little pressure on the defense, are going to do really well because they're not game planning for those people. So, but having said that, they both looked really impressive. I mean, Lonzo Ball had an awful first game, but he came back and was, had a couple triple doubles in it. I just wonder, I don't know how much Lonzo Ball's game is going to translate to the NBA. Like how much, I don't know if I didn't see the athleticism, I guess you could say, that I was hoping we would see from Ball. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, and I think his numbers are a little deceiving. He didn't shoot well at all. He only made 12 jump shots, which out of 50, I think he missed 38, which is, I'm not a Grant. What's the math on that, real quick?
24%.
It's not good. So that's pretty scary for me when you think about it. I do love the way he rebounds on defense and gets the ball moving down the court. I think that's something the Lakers have been missing, and that alone should make him be able to contribute this year. But until his jump shot starts falling at a more consistent rate, I mean, that's a little scary for me. And I don't even think he deserved to win the MVP. I thought it should have gone to their big man from Utah. What's his name? Yeah, Kuzman, who averaged, I think, like 21 points a game. And in the final, he got like 30 points and made like 9 threes or something crazy like that. I thought he was the MVP, honestly, but Ball's the popular guy. And, Ball does a lot of the intangibles, but those guys, I thought for the Lakers to have those two guys, it's a nice thing to build off of, and you could hopefully have them making an impact this year.
Yeah, there's just excitement back around the Lakers for the first time in, who knows, 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah, Lonzo Ball shot is garbage at this point. Is not good, but all things considering, he does a lot of things really well. I mean, just his passing is incredible. Guys just are going to want to play with him, are going to have fun playing with him. You can just tell, like, the guys just love being on the court with him. His rebounding is really good.
It's big baller.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he's going to get a lot of scrutiny just because of his idiot dad. But I don't know. I think his game's pretty well rounded. He's got time to work on his jumper. There's a lot of guards that come into the league that have pretty crappy jumpers. Russell Westbrook was one of them. Derrick Rose is another one. John Wall is another one. A lot of these point guards come in and they just none of them are really good outside shooters. But give it. What's that? You laughing at me?
It's like all these people came into the league, but they're still not good shooters. So we'll
no. I mean, no. I mean,
Derrick Rose didn't get that much better, and John Wall's
they weren't.
okay, and
John Wall's improved a lot.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook's improved a lot. So I mean, it's. I mean, these guys aren't like their game isn't just 3-point shooters, but they're good enough to be a threat. I think he'll get there eventually. But more than anything, this summer league, I was just amazed at how good the rookie class was. I mean, this rookie class was hyped up, and there's been a few rookie classes hyped up over the last 5 or 6 years. But this one feels like it just lived up to the hype. It just felt like these rookies just dominated the entire summer league.
Yeah, this honestly felt like one of the best draft classes since, I mean, it's early to tell, but I mean, they were really deep, on this deep since maybe LeBron's class. I mean, it's obviously really early to tell, but I mean, Dennis Smith Jr., so later lottery pick somewhat, and he looks like he should have been a top 5 guy. He probably would have been the number 1 pick in last year's draft potentially with the way he played. And some people, I even read an article that if they had to do a redraft, they would have had him over Fultz, which I think is a little premature. But and side note, I love how everyone's talking about his. I don't know if you guys saw that.
About his what?
He had a dunk that he missed, like the ball bounced out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like almost posterized guy and got up. It was, I mean, his athleticism really showed. Donovan Mitchell. The same article I read said he would have been top 7, top 5 pick. Had to redo. I mean, he looked fantastic. Jazz fans should be really excited about him. And those are later guys, and even some of the Lakers, that big guy from Utah, if he can keep that shot from outside, he'll find a place in the league, being a stretch 4 or stretch 5 if he can, shoot from 35%, 40% from the 3. If you get someone at the end of the first round that can provide that for you, I mean, that's a pretty deep class. I mean, even those guys and some of the guys that fell the second round could make contributions this year in the NBA. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for this year's class.
Yeah, I think the Jazz definitely lucked out with Mitchell. I mean, he's looks like the real deal. And when was the last time there's been this much hype around a Jazz draft pick? I mean, I thinking back, I got to think back to like Deshaun Stevenson. When he came out, he had a lot of hype.
Deshaun Stevenson.
He didn't live up to it.
Deron
Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a lot of hype.
Karl Malone.
Yeah,
No, but seriously, like.
Yeah, and he was a
Deshaun Stevenson. When he came out, he was supposed to be like this great athlete and stuff, and people hyped him up pretty good, but he just didn't.
Yeah, and he was straight from high school. I agree, Grant. But I mean, even though he's the 13th pick, we've had Exum and some other higher picks than even. I'm more excited about him than I was about any of those other guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's his bust potential is like really low now. I think at minimum he's going to be a really good defender and 3-and-D guy at minimum. I think ceiling's really high, and he can be, multiple all-star team talent guy. But I think his bust potential is really low. Is there anyone that you guys were just in your watching some of the games you guys were disappointed with watching?
I was disappointed with the Kentucky guards. Both of them, I thought, were going to have a better summer league.
Fox. Yeah.
Well, Monk was injured.
Fox, yeah. I guess I didn't. Yeah. So, but Fox, I wasn't that impressed with. I thought he had a chance to really stand out. The one game I did watch of him, I didn't.
He didn't really shut down Lonzo Ball. That was the big thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear what his mom said about it?
No, what'd she say?
So this is going back a couple months, like before the draft and everything. His mom, because I guess someone was asking De'Aaron Fox's mom about him and Lonzo and kind of their rivalry, and she said that both times they played, DeAndre ate his ass.
Oh, I thought that was his
Yeah.
dad that said that.
No, it was his mom. And so every time it comes up, there's this whole ass eating side note has to do with it.
Yeah.
But
That and the Dennis Smith Jr. quotes are gonna be ones that we'll be talking about for years. Like
slang it. But the Dennis Smith thing was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, wasn't it? Like he was in high
it
school.
was 4 or 5. I think he was a freshman in high school, so about 5 years ago. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you had to rank, I was curious, Dennis Smith and Mitchell, who do you think had a better summer league between those two?
Better summer league. I would say Smith. He played more games. He's like almost your perfect guy for summer league, just because he's athletic. He can get to the rim. He's super offensive. And his defensive problems aren't going to be as magnified. So I don't know. But I think Mitchell's going to be better. But I think Smith had a better summer league for sure.
See, I think Smith, he already kind of knows where his role, if that makes sense. Like Mitchell's still kind of like, he played the 2 in college, but they're kind of transitioning him to the 1. So he's still kind of figuring that part out. But I think defensively, I mean, a complete player. I mean, he had 8 steals in one game.
Yeah, but he just didn't play as many games either.
That's true. But I mean, the games that he did play, so I can only compare the games that he played. I mean, there's a few that he did okay at, but there was, at least half that he was by far the best player on the court for both teams and dominated, looked fantastic shooting outside, getting to the rim, and then playing even better defense than I think Dennis Smith. And so I mean, that's my only thing is I think Dennis Smith, like I said at the beginning, he already kind of knows his role a little bit more, like he fits the mold, whereas Mitchell offensively is still figuring out, he's not the greatest ball handler at this point to bring it up as the point guard. In summer league, it's a lot like college, like they're pressuring, everybody's trying to make a name for themselves and pressuring the whole court, going intense. So I think that'll calm down in the NBA. But once he gets that down, I think his ceiling's higher than even Dennis Smith's.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mitchell, he's got that wingspan. He's a lot more physical than Smith is. But we'll see. I mean,
yeah, both those guys. Dallas. I mean, if I'm Dallas, I'm stoked about that guy, though. I mean, he looks amazing, and they got some good young guys to build off of. So it's a young core. In the West, they can, and if they can recruit a guy or two, if those guys can continue to develop, that's a pretty quick rebuild that the Mavericks have done without, tanking full on like Philly and the Lakers did.
Yeah. Is there anybody, I don't know, you would, if obviously only knowing what we know from Summer League, is there anybody you think, knowing what we know now, they would have drafted so-and-so instead of so-and-so?
Oh, I think the Knicks for sure would have drafted Dennis Smith over that French point guard.
Yeah.
Without a question.
Yeah.
Do the Bulls go after Donovan Mitchell?
Possibly. I mean, that guy that they drafted from Arizona didn't look that great in Summer League.
Yeah.
Told you.
I actually had higher hopes for him. I thought, and I still think he can develop, but he's not going to be making nearly as big of an impact as those guys, at least right off the bat.
No. I think he's got the highest bust potential in that top 15.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty one-dimensional.
I don't know. That French guy, I think, might have a higher bust potential.
Yeah, we haven't seen him, but just
exactly
from that's seen from Mark. But I don't know what we've seen from Laurie. It's not like, oh man, geez, this guy's like not good. It's almost better not to be seen so far than showing up and being garbage like he did. But
yeah, I could just see that. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, from what I read, the French guy needs to develop an outside shot. He kind of reminded me a lot like Exum.
Can't you pretty much say that about almost everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, Lonzo Ball needs to develop his shot. Josh Jackson, Fox, Isaac, Kilatina, Collins. Go down the list. Like, I mean, that's part of the game. You got to have that outside shot. But
Yeah.
what about you, Grant? Is there anybody you think you got bust potential? I don't know, someone you'd move up.
Well, I was just
Well,
I was actually somewhat surprised at how much I liked Tatum. I thought when the Celtics fell back to 3 and didn't take Fultz, I mean, if I were them, I'd still take Fultz, but Tatum at times looked like a stud. He looked like the real deal. He looked like he could carry an offense at times. I mean, granted, it's summer league. You're not playing the best of players or defenses, but he just felt like it just looked like he was ready for that role and ready to be in the NBA. Yeah. And so I don't know. I was just surprised at how ready he looked, and he looks like he has an NBA body, and I think he's somebody that's going to contribute and give the Celtics, a good 15, 20 minutes a game, which I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, he did look great. I will say that too. And that reminded me there's a couple other bust potential. I think there's even a bigger bust than the guy from Arizona, Josh Jackson, in Phoenix. He looks pretty bad offensively. And he didn't play that well in the summer league when he played. Looking up some of his stats.
Yeah, but I watched.
I think he could be.
I guess in defense of Josh, I watched him play, and there's a couple times he was able to disrupt, make some steals, take it full court and dunk it,
But he can't shoot at all.
But if at minimum you're at least a guy like worst case scenario, he's Tony Allen.
No, worst case scenario, he's who's the guy from the Oklahoma City that they did like the Hacka shack on
Robertson?
Robertson. Yeah, he shot like 40%
Robertson
in the summer league from free throw. Josh Jackson, he was awful.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is another one of those guys that just.
Yeah, exactly. I think in today's modern NBA.
But at least these people play in the NBA. There's a million guys like Lauri Markkanen who aren't even in the NBA. They play in Turkey.
There's a million 7-footers that can shoot threes.
They're out there.
No, not.
Well, there's a lot of 7-footers who rebound like they're 6'6" and play defense like they're 6'6".
I mean, I think Josh Jackson has a bigger bust potential. I think I don't know. I wasn't impressed with him. Josh Jackson. And then there was who else I just thought of that I potentially. So, I mean, if you were Phoenix, would you draft Josh Jackson again at that spot, or would you take Dennis Smith or somebody else?
Monk, something like that.
Monk.
We talked about this after the draft. If I'm Phoenix, I'd take Monk and just throw Monk and Booker out there and just say, hey, we're shooting 45% from 3, and we're going to be launching them all game and see if you can stop us.
I'm not going to give up on Josh Jackson that soon. I think he fits well in Phoenix. He's an athletic guy. He's going to run the floor. He's going to rebound really well. He's going to play some good defense. I think that's kind of what they needed in Phoenix.
No, I agree. I agree. I think he's fine. I don't think he has highest bust potential, but I still think if I don't go that direction. But that's a different discussion.
Richard, who did you think? Was there anyone else that? I mean, you asked Grant and I, but the other person before that I thought of that. If there was a redraft, I don't think they would take this person. Portland. I should have looked up his name before here. The guy from Gonzaga.
Collins,
yeah. He didn't look great. He looked decent, but he didn't look like a top 10 pick. And I don't think – I mean, I could see him being somewhat of a bust, kind of like his ceiling doesn't seem that high. He seems like his ceiling could be I don't know who's a decent big man. Kelly Olynyk. That kind of was the feeling I got from watching him in the summer league.
You're just doing that because he's white and from Gonzaga.
Well, I mean, I could have said Adam Morrison.
I watched the game because we were at what was it, Twin Peaks or whatever. We were watching him play. He looks fine. I mean,
he looked up.
I try not to I'm taking like a whole referendum. He looked like an NBA player out there. You know, he looked better than the scrubs they got out there. You know what I'm saying?
His team did look pretty bad, which is probably part of it too.
Yeah, like, I mean, you just had to go and you're like, is this guy better than all these losers they're bringing in from Israel or whatever to fill up their summer league squad?
But he kind of reminds me of like I mean, here's another thing, like a Marvin Williams that was like a sixth man for UNC, and you know he never played a ton in the NBA or in college. He was the sixth man, and Collins was the same at Gonzaga. You know, the athleticism, I guess, was a little bit there, and you're kind of drafting on potential, but I don't even really see his ceiling being that high.
Oh, I think he's fine. I think he didn't look like he's you know, like, wow, he's terrible. Like, I saw marketing like, this guy looks like he's out of his depth.
And I will say Portland is, I mean, they're pretty stacked in their front court with Lillard and McCollum. So if they had to redraft, they'd probably still take Collins because they don't need Smith
I mean, the next place you're doing is maybe Bam Adebayo, who looked really good.
He did have a good summer league.
He looked really good. But I don't know. Just think, Sacramento could have had any of those guys, but they went for Justin Jackson instead. So congrats to Sacramento.
Yeah, I concede, Richard. You were right. I thought the Sacramento guys were going to be better than they were, and they did not look great.
No, you just got a bunch of guys who, I don't know. I don't want to go rehash that whole thing again, but I just don't get what they're doing. Them and the Bulls, I don't understand what they're doing. Because remember, I talked about how much I like Jordan Bell and how stupid the Bulls were for selling him for 3.5. He was one of the best guys in summer league. Didn't he score like 38 points? He just looked like Draymond Green out there. I mean, it was against summer league competition, but he looked markedly better than people he was playing against. And he's one guy I thought the Jazz should have went for in the late first. But
yeah. Grant, you got to be kidding me.
What? What?
Why don't you just open up a bag of Cheetos while you're at it?
You gotta keep listeners interested.
Or winners and losers of the week. You guys got those prepared? Grant, that's a good look on your face.
Yeah. You guys
Richard,
go. I've got mine. I want to save mine.
Roger Federer.
I thought about him.
Dude is like 1,000 years old in tennis years and still just kicking everyone's ass.
He didn't lose a set.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He didn't lose a set in the Australian. What's his name? Didn't lose a set in the French.
Nadal.
And then Nadal, yeah. Then he didn't lose a set going in Wimbledon. Just demolished everyone. And he's a badass. I think he's like basically, if it wasn't already before, but secured like best of all time, all that kind of stuff in the tennis world. And so that's my winner.
It's a good winner. So my winner, and this probably won't be a shock to you guys, the Marshawn Lynch jersey sales.
They low?
No, they are extremely high. He in 14 of the 50 states in the United States, he's the top selling jersey.
14.
Think about that, though. That's pretty impressive to have that with how distributed, there's a lot of teams. So pretty much all the West Coast. And then he pulled in a few, I think he pulled in like Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Arizona.
A lot of Raiders fans out there in random places.
I guess. And some of those states I was kind of surprised with. But, I mean, it's about Marshawn Lynch coming out. I actually don't think he's going to have as great of a season, but it's he's already probably the most popular Raider in the country. Everybody loves Marshawn, and then being able to buy his jersey in those sweet silver and black uniforms, man, you're going to be seeing those for years and years to come.
Oh, he's gonna be fat, out of shape, and he's not gonna care. He just came back.
Doesn't
for a
even matter.
paycheck.
It's gonna be one of those jerseys that you see like 20 years from now. People are still gonna be wearing Marshawn Lynch Oakland Raider jerseys.
Oh my god.
Not wrong, I don't think. Yeah.
No, but I saw that and I was like, wow, that was kind of crazy. That 14, no other jersey, no one else had more than like 2 states. Like it's pretty crazy. And Marshawn had 14. Oh, Seattle. He had Washington. He had the entire East Coast. And with states that have football teams in them, which I thought was impressive.
My winner for the week is the Los Angeles Dodgers. I got to throw some baseball out there. They have been freaking hot. On pace for like 112 wins or something. Top to bottom, their offense is playing great. Their pitching's been amazing. I know we don't talk baseball on this thing, but I have to give my Dodgers a plug.
I would love to talk baseball. Imagine if they had kept Zach Greinke, how good that team would be. I know got a crap ton of money from Arizona, but
they wanted to keep him. They gave him a pretty good offer, but the Diamondbacks just blew out of the water. But even without him, right around early to mid-May, I texted my brother. I was like, Dodgers looking okay. But this is when Justin Turner was hurt. But I was like, man, they could really use another bat. Like Justin Turner went down, Adrian Gonzalez went down. I was like, man, if they're going to make a run, they need another bat. And out of nowhere, this Bellinger kid just goes crazy. And he's
going to put it.
He's been awesome. I watched the highlights, but I didn't watch it.
The Derby.
Oh yeah, Aaron Judge was insane.
He
had 23.
It was. I don't like the way they do that format. It's just like a head-to-head matchup thing.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like that either. But Aaron Judge, still, he had to get 23 to make it to the second round. I felt bad for the guy he beat in the first round.
The local guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Guy.
Oh, that's Stanton. Yeah.
No,
they should do the home run derby.
The other Marlins guy.
The donut guy.
Both Marlins lost and got out in the first round, right?
I had this idea for the home run derby is that if every contestant was in the back and couldn't actually watch, so they had no idea how many home runs they needed to hit to win or to make it to the next round. I just thought that would be interesting. Just kind of a blind, just go out there and just hit as many as you can and hope that it's enough.
Yeah,
instead of this, I hit one more than that guy, I can just stop.
Yeah, I can relax or whatever. You just gotta go out and whack him.
Yeah.
But Aaron Judge, man, that guy looks crazy. Aaron Judge and Bellinger, they're the next Harper and Trout.
Well, Bellinger, he's like a wiry guy.
Yeah, he's not jacked or anything. He's just
he's
kind of lanky.
He has an easy swing, like a Griffey-esque type.
Really
upright. Kind of upright kind of swing, and whereas what's his name, Judge, is just a behemoth of a man and just wills those things into places that no one thought that they would go.
Yeah, but baseball season will be interesting down the stretch. The Dodgers and the
Astros, man. Yeah, I'm going to the Astros game on the 31st. I'm actually really excited for it. Houston, I can tell you on the sports radio, they are loving the Astros. They're all in. The city is really excited about them. And this is they're a very good offensive team, top to bottom. I think their leadoff hitter has 25 home runs already. Which is pretty crazy. And then they've had a bunch of injuries, and they're still 18 games above second place in their division. So they're gonna have smooth sailings. They can rest a little bit. Some of their guys, get them back healthy. They did just lose. Correa just went down for 6 to 8 weeks with a thumb injury. So hopefully he can come back in time for the playoffs. Because otherwise that'll be a pretty big loss. And then Keuchel, their ace, is on the DL right now, and they need him to come back if they want any chance against the Dodgers and in the playoffs. But yeah, those two teams, I would love to see them in the NLCS. That would be a great battle. They've got good pitching, really good hitters, top to bottom, both teams. And I would think they would be the favorites to win it all.
Yeah, I just hope the Dodgers don't fizzle out. I mean, they've had a few good years in the last 5 years, and playoffs come and they kind of fizzle, or they just don't get hot at the right moment. So I hope they,
Well,
don't kind of fizzle going into September, October-ish.
they've had some of the best pitchers in the regular season every one of those years, and then they haven't done well in the playoffs.
Yeah. But they haven't had the bats like this year. I mean, their team just hit so many home runs. Every time I watch a highlight of their games, they hit 1 or 2 homers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, let's get to the losers. Richard?
My loser of the week, not to get too political, is Donald Trump Jr.
Is there any way to take that besides being political?
But now, I'm not saying I'm like it's not a but I just don't want to get too political,
Oh, okay.
Or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
How stupid could you be? Like, there's a theory going around that the New York Times is going to release all that stuff anyway, and so they wanted to quote unquote get ahead of it and be quote unquote honest or whatever. But it's just like, and the best thing is like they were harping on Hillary for literally years about this email thing, right? And then the whole thing that's might crumble their whole administration is Donald Trump Jr. sending like blatant, like in the subject line, confidential, like, great, this is secret information about the, thanks Russians, confidential. It's like word for word, like what it is. And I don't know. It just seems very, very stupid. And he's just a loser. I just don't understand it, but
yeah.
And it's a slow week for everything else, and that's like the only thing going on. So.
You know what I'm getting sick and tired of hearing though, and with politics is every single scandal is like, is this going to be enough to impeach Trump? Is like at this point, I feel like Trump. There's nothing like in every story is like, oh, is this going to be the final needle? No, Trump does not give a damn about any of this stuff. And there is nothing that's going to get him impeached. I mean, the only way that that's going to happen is if the Republicans get destroyed in the mid-election, which could happen. I mean, that's the Democrats' best hope. But it's just so annoying now hearing that. I honestly have stopped caring, even listening or watching any of those shows on TV and CNN. I don't even care to watch any of them anymore because it's all the same. It's just one scandal after another, and nothing's changing. And so it's just kind of tired of it.
Paul Ryan is the one who'd have to write up the articles of impeachment. He's obviously shown to not have a spine. So it's not going to happen until something really, really bad. But Republicans are really good at spinning things and saying, oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not that big of a meeting. And there's only a couple of people there, just the entire administration. It's not a big deal, though, And so as long as they keep saying that, then, it's not going to get anywhere. But it's just, there'll be a time when there'll be a straw that breaks the camel's back. We just don't know when it's going to be, I don't think.
Gotcha. So my loser of the week. So I kind of have two. I have one main one that it's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's looking like Chargers first-round draft pick Mike Williams has a herniated disc and is going to require season-ending surgery. Seems like the Chargers every year the last few years have had some of the worst injury luck, and it's already starting for them. And the things I read is they think he either injured it at the combine or in workouts, but all that the LA Chargers know is that he came to training camp or early on, what was the rookie mini camp, OTAs with the herniated disc. And so they are still trying to figure out how he did it. But man, what terrible luck for the Chargers. I was really excited to see him, Keenan Allen being back. But it's already looking like this season might not be the Chargers' year.
Is it ever their year?
No. But I mean, that offense would have been a lot better. I mean, between just having those two wideouts, they had talent, and Melvin Gordon, and things were looking better this year. Last year they had so many injuries, it just killed them. Just coming back healthy, I think they would have been a lot better. They would have been at least, I would have picked, probably a 7, 8, 9 win team, even though their division is brutal. They were a talented team. I mean, they lost a lot of close games to their rivals last year. Watching them, like they were a much better team than their record showed. And if they bring back a couple guys, they were going to, and with the, a top 10 pick and Mike Williams, who I thought was going to be a stud, that's a pretty big loss. So that was my number one biggest loser. My number two, which was going to be my number one until I saw the Mike Williams news, the Detroit Lions. It's a terrible week for them. Calvin Johnson came out and said if the Lions would have released him, he would still be playing in the NFL.
Jeez.
And so just, I mean, to have two of the great players, I mean, if Calvin Johnson would have continued his career, he probably would have been in that Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, top 5 wide receiver of all time talk. Now,
I don't know. I don't understand this because all we heard after he's like, oh, the organization is great, blah, 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 blah. And he was basically he said that his injuries is why, because he just like literally like his knees hurt all the time. His hands hurt all the time. He's like, I just can't move hardly anymore. It takes everything out of me. And I don't understand. And I had to go back because it was like in Italy. So I don't know what questions they were asking him or like, if there was some sort of contextual thing that was going on, because it doesn't make any sense character-wise why he would say this, or the story.
Well, he had been in the news the last few. Yeah, I mean, the Italy thing happened a while ago, but I'm pretty sure that something happened this week where he came out and said he would be playing if he was released.
Well, I don't know. Is it? I don't know the whole story. It just, I'm just saying, like, if it is, like, that's a stupid thing to say because it's like the Lions made the playoffs like 4 times, like in the last 6 years or whatever. So it's like it's not like they were just a dog shit team.
4 times in 6 years?
I think so. Because they made it in 2011, 2012. Made it. Let's see here.
No way.
They made the playoffs. It's not like they were like a perennially losing team.
No, they didn't make it 4 times in 6 years, though. I don't even think they went back to back those 2 years.
Let me look here.
I'll look it up.
I'm pretty sure they made it twice.
They made it in 2011, 2014, and 2016.
Okay, so
3 in 6 years. So yeah, every other year.
Well, I mean, like
they never won a playoff game though.
Yeah.
Well, and he didn't play for them in 2016.
But he also didn't stay healthy very often either. So I mean, like he was injured a lot.
He was pretty healthy most of his career.
Well, especially the last couple of years, he was injured quite a bit. So I mean, if he's going to throw stones, like maybe he should have been more available.
Well, he went through maybe like the worst 5-year stretch of an organization in like the history of the NFL.
Oh yeah, they were awful like his first couple of years. I'm not saying that. Yeah.
But my point was though, it's never good. It's never a good look for an organization to have some of your previous greats come out and say things like this. And they've had 2 really, really good generational talents say this about the organization. And
they got over this since Calvin left. They have a new president, new GM running the organization. So, I mean, say what you will about those guys.
I'm not saying that these guys aren't going to be bad or good. I'm just saying it wasn't a good week news-wise for that.
It doesn't look good, but it's like it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like,
I was shocked by it because I had heard all those, I'm retiring this year after sitting out a year.
You asshole! Oh, fuck the Lions! Oh, Lions suck. It's just like the other guy. It's a generational talents. Fucking hate the Lions. Oh.
Not gonna lie, that is a big reason why I wanted to bring it up. just to get your reaction.
It's just so stupid.
Well, they are one of the worst franchises in any major sport. Like historically bad to have never made a Super Bowl. No.
Hey,
of all time.
Neither have the Jaguars.
Yeah, but they haven't been around for 70 years.
Hey, The Lions just happened to have a dynasty right before the Super Bowl existed, like a year before. So it's not our fault. We were ahead of the curve.
Back when there was like 8 teams.
Exactly. And they were all in like in the north. They were like Michigan, Green Bay.
Hey,
anyways,
they won. Yeah, Bobby
Lions.
Lane.
Yeah, Bobby Lane.
Yeah.
Yep, and then you ran him out of town. You wouldn't. Oh, that seems to be a common thread, Richard.
He was an alcoholic.
Let's see. We got a generational talent, Bobby Lane. Let's see if we can get him to retire early. And then he's gonna put a curse on us for 50 years. Oh wait, let's do it again when the curse is almost up. Oh, Barry Sanders puts another curse on us for 50 years. Let's do it to Megatron now. It's great strategy.
Well, I'll pivot to another terribly run franchise. And I'm going to say the losers of the week are this is kind of a recurring theme, and I can make these guys the losers of the week every week, is the New York Knicks. Carmelo basically just told them that there's no way.
Grant, you sound like shit.
What? I'm talking to my microphone. Where should I be talking?
I don't know. It's like really weird noises going on. Richard, can you hear it?
Yeah, you sound terrible.
Gosh dang it.
I even put in the chat like before Roy said that. Grant, you sound like shit.
Is this better? What's better?
No, it's like
I think
it's
like
staticky.
microphone. It's like really staticky. Up until that, I don't know if it's your headphones, maybe.
Try it again.
How do I sound?
Still bad.
I need a new microphone, I think. This is
We can buy like the cheapest one.
I had to prove the concept first.
That microphone.
Try moving the mic. Try adjusting like the cord from your earphones to the microphone. This is great podcasting, guys.
This is amazing. How do I sound?
Still terrible.
Pretty bad still. Maybe unplug it and plug it back in.
Why don't you unplug it? We'll start talking about the NFL.
Or we got the Knicks, we were saying, right? Well,
yeah, Knicks suck, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, maybe we get to fantasy football. Can't hear you, Grant. I can see your mouth moving, but you would like.
Oh,
you want to get on your knees and.
Eagles.
The Eagles are going to be terrible this year.
Yeah,
man, I agree 100%, Grant. The Eagles are going to be the worst team in the NFL.
You want to trade me,
Carson?
Someone I can't say it again. I want to read your lips.
Bell to Richard.
Oh,
he's gonna trade you Le'Veon Bell. I heard it. That's witnesses.
That's two. And anybody who hears this is a witness. He's gonna trade me Le'Veon Bell for whoever I draft in the 7th round. I don't know who it's gonna be, but you can make that decision, Grant. You're welcome.
Grant, there's no volume whatsoever on you.
And Mel Gordon for a 12th round. Okay, fine.
Melvin Gordon. Wow, you drive a hard bargain, Grant.
Quite the negotiator.
Just so much winning. Just so much.
Can you hear us?
Probably. It looks like he's getting angry. So, yeah, he can hear us. Oh man, I wonder. There's no way I'm like I can't control his volume, can I? Like I saw something that said he didn't have.
Tried muting and unmuting a couple times, but
I
think if the one thing we know, Grant is not a technological genius.
Yeah, exactly. Grant, on Google, on the actual page, if you put your mouse near the top, there might be a thing that says like has a mute microphone. Try unmute. See if that. No, Hello, Grant. Well, let's get into fantasy football, Richard, while Grant tries to figure this out.
All right. We were talking about rookie running.
Yeah, the rookie running backs. I actually really like this class. Looks like Grant's going to try and log out and log back in.
Well, if you don't come back, that's fine.
The main guys that went in the first round. You got Fournette. I think he's in a good situation.
Are you giving me your rankings right now?
Well, no, I'm not. I was just kind of going over the guys that I guess between Fournette, McCaffrey.
You hear me?
Yeah. Hey, welcome back, Grant.
Now
you sound much better.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Anywho, the Knicks suck. They got Paul George.
Melo moved on.
Put him in a hard spot, and I'm
holding you to your word on that draft, on that trade. Everyone heard.
Okay. Anywho, what I'd really like to discuss is our fantasy football league, and who do you guys think has the best keepers?
Well, this is great for our podcast listeners who have no idea who any of the people have.
We have to come to expect this. We're going to talk about our league.
We don't have any other listeners.
So it depends on.
It's fine. That is the audience.
It depends on Grant, like best value or best like setup. So I think Rhett has a solid between being able to keep Antonio Brown, right? Who was his first round guy? Was it Brown?
No, it was OBJ.
OBJ, that's right. So OBJ, and then having the Howard from the Bears at like a 16th round. I mean, you have a number one wide receiver, number one running back, and you're not even giving up. You're giving up your first round pick is all for the two of them. That's a pretty solid keeper list. I actually think Jaron might have the best value. I was looking at him today a little bit. Depends on which way he goes, but Coleman is projecting, and what I was looking at is he's a pretty solid handcuff to Freeman, and if Freeman ever gets injured, I think Coleman's going about a 5th or 6th, and he has him at a 10th or 11th round, and then he has Isaiah Crowell, who is going in the 2nd round at either his 10th or 11th. I forgot which one. But then he also has. I mean, he probably will keep Julio Jones at the 1st, but as far as value goes, keeping those two guys, only losing a 10th in round, having two pretty solid running backs. Neither are going to be, top 3 or 4 guys, but, it gives you some depth, and you can draft it helps your draft out a lot having those two guys in later rounds that are going to be solid contributors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you think anybody else had better keepers?
Well, I mean, the better keepers are the value. You have the best keepers, but they're all first round value is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to somehow trade for about 4 first round picks and just not draft the rest of the.
Hey, we can talk. After we pick our spots, we can talk.
I've already started looking at teams that I'm thinking about trading that won't have a first round keeper that I'll be able to try and negotiate with. Because if I can keep Evans and Elliott, I mean, that's getting both those guys. Nobody would be able to top those two as far as just best talent wise. And
yeah, I'm looking at it, and it looks like there's probably at least 3 or 4 teams that probably won't keep a single player.
It's funny. I'm going through, and I just happen to be looking at the ones that Andy marked. What was he thinking?
Yeah.
Does he not know anything about football?
No, he doesn't.
I'm pretty sure
he's terrible. Andy, if you're listening to me, you're an idiot.
Yes.
These are hilarious.
That's why I said I agreed with him 100%, because it's like I don't know, trying to throw him off a little bit, make him feel good, but they were so.
I actually agree with those 100%. I honestly didn't even go back and look at them till now. I was like, these are so stupid. like Rory, him keeping Cam Newton at the first round value.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And then Rory keeping Derrick Henry at his 7th round value.
Chad has David Johnson and like 3 other first round picks, and he's not keeping David Johnson somehow. He's like the best running back in fantasy.
Yeah. Or like I was looking at Rhett's because he had marked up Rhett. Where did it go? And he was like the two were John Brown with a 6th-round valuation and Bilal Powell with a 10th valuation. What are you thinking? He skipped over all these other people. He skipped over Odell Beckham 1st round, Emmanuel Sanders 4th round, Kirk Cousins 12th round. That's not bad. Jordan Howard 16th round. Like there's always like all these things are way like Bilal Powell 10th round.
Bilal Powell.
I agree with these 100%. Andy just thinks it's a genius.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing.
He has Devontae Parker 7th round. The guy who didn't even play last year for the Dolphins. Yeah. I don't know. Was Andy being serious with these? Because that's my only thing. Is
no, I don't think he was.
I think
it's hard to know. He's so bad at fantasy. Who knows? I mean, I can't wait till week 7 comes around and he's getting bored and just itching to do any sort of trade.
Just for the hell of it.
And just trying to get like his best player from him.
But I guess to answer the question, Rhett, let's see here. Jaron is in a good spot. I mean, he's got a lot of decent ones. Nothing like Julio, obviously, if you can get Julio. And I don't know if you would take Crowell, but I mean, I think Rhett's still in the best spot, like we're talking about. Being able to get as you're starting running back, and for the 16th round, you're ahead of the ball game at that point. So.
Yeah. Who has the worst keepers, Grant?
The worst keepers?
Bad.
Kyle's are bad. Andy's, I think, are bad.
Lance.
Richard, you actually don't have too many great ones.
I already know what I'm gonna do. It's not bad. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Mine aren't great. I mean, I have Elliott, and I mean, after that, I'll probably keep one of my undrafted guys at their value.
Yeah, I don't have anything that's going to be. Are we doing that rule for sure this year?
Yeah, pretty sure we agreed on it.
I didn't vote on this.
I gotta send out an official poll for it.
Well, shit.
So wait, are we just doing it based on ADP?
Based on the 0.5 PPR that we always use, the Grant pulls
the rankings.
Every year, the rankings.
Yeah,
from where?
Fantasy Pros or something. Fantasy Pros. No, they're like the only ones that have. They're like the only ones that have half point PPR rankings.
Actually.
But so they're ADP on Fantasy Pros.
Yeah, Fantasy
probably
Pros. It's 0.5.
Yeah.
PPR, half PPR.
0.5 PPR.
Yeah, but they're ADP, not their ranking.
Their ranking or their ADP. What do you want? I don't care.
Oh, I think it'd be ADP.
Just decide. That works for me. Yeah.
Well, I don't think you should be able to keep undrafted players at all. That's my opinion, because if you want to keep them, draft them.
That's kind of the point. Yeah. But at the same time, keeping them at their ADP is like it's a wash, basically.
Yeah, I don't see any point in it. Just a guy that you know you're gonna want to get, and so you just draft them.
I guess I just remember that there was a lot of people that were upset about, they viewed it as, you were watching the waiver wire, and you should be able to keep those guys, and they wanted to keep them at like a 14th or 15th round pick, and I was like, no.
Andy at our video call.
Andy, welcome.
Word. Andy, I have a question. Okay, so when you were marking up all of your stuff, like you screenshotted everyone's things, you were marking with red marker. Were you being serious with your markings? Like, oh yeah, Chad, he should definitely keep these people. Were you being serious, or are you just fucking with us, basically?
Does Andy have volume?
He doesn't know how to answer that question.
Well, hey, we have video on Andy almost.
I know. Where'd it go?
I know. He's still not as bad as Grant yet, so we'll give him a couple minutes.
Screw you.
Andy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. When you were marking up your, you screenshot all that stuff, and then you were marking like who should keep who. Were you being serious when you did that?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing it when I was driving, so just went ahead and marked that shit up.
Okay, I don't know if it was a joke or not.
Why?
Some of them were kind
funny.
of terrible.
Well, if someone idiot like Chad or Jaron signs on for it, then you're welcome.
I know, but the best is, Chris, I actually agree with this 100%. And I'm just barely getting back and looking at these, and I was just laughing at them because they were just funny.
Well, so which ones are the ones that you think are funny?
You said I should keep it. You said I should keep Cam Newton at a first-round pick.
Why not? What do you have to lose? He's not going to do this. He's not going to do the same thing he did last
games,
year.
Matchups,
The fantasy
playoff spot.
Hey, quarterback is the quarterback.
$20.
Quarterback is the number one position in fantasy football. Number one draft pick should always be a quarterback.
All right, Andy.
No, the best
I really
one
hope
was
you follow that.
you had Rhett, who you had him keep John Brown, Arizona wide receiver with a 6th-round valuation, and Bilal Powell, running back.
Is he still in the league
For the
Bilal
10th
Powell?
round. And I'm not even
Yeah,
sure
he
what
is.
team Bilal Powell is even on anymore. I have to look this up.
He's on the Jets still.
Andy, do you
I
know who
actually think
Bilal
he's gonna
Powell
be-
is?
I don't know who any of those guys are.
Then why did you suggest that he keeps him?
I don't know. Just kind of like, oh, maybe I'll pick a 11th round and a 7th round.
I like it, Andy. I like it.
Hey, it's not always about what you know or stats. Sometimes it's just about getting lucky. Am I right?
Andy's strategy every year.
Wait, so I was serious about my keepers, though. I'm going to keep Stephon Diggs and Anuyo. I don't know how to say his name.
Quincy Enunwa?
Uh-huh.
Those aren't bad. Was it Nuno? He was drafted pretty late too, right?
No, he wasn't drafted. So
Wasn't
He wasn't drafted.
So we
if
have to-
the thing passes, then he's going to get him as ADP, whatever. That
Apparently, we have to vote on that, Andy. I guess it hadn't been voted on, so I think, but we'll do that this week.
I
Grant's
think
the commissioner. He's
undrafted
being
players
lazy.
should be 12 round.
Why don't you keep Chandler Catanzaro with the 15th round, Andy?
Who the fuck is that?
Exactly. He's a kicker.
Well, I was actually thinking Beasley because I think the Cowboys are going to be good this year. But, man, I think Stephon Diggs is going to step it up for Minnesota.
Are you getting advice
think-
from Kyle's roommate again?
No, I do not speak directly to Tony.
Is it weird to you guys? Well, probably shouldn't say it on here. Anyways, this will be an offline chat in case
Wait.
anybody ever listens to this.
Are you guys recording this?
Yeah.
Yes, this is being recorded.
You think we just get on the phone
Andy,
and
where are you
chat?
at right now?
No, I can see that we're on a Google Hangout. I just thought you guys wanted to chat.
Where are you at right now, Andy?
California.
Why'd you say it was 12:30? It's like 9:30 in California.
It's 12:30 for Grant.
Yeah,
Grant
but
doesn't
Grant's
sleep.
a bit. It's Grant's own fault. He said he'd start at 11 and he showed up 30 minutes late.
My nights
Typical.
begin at 1 o'clock, guys. Come on.
That's when he opens up the tuna can.
That's when
I
he
am
can.
sorry.
Prowling for hotties on chat roulette.
That's when he can get his 2003 poster of what's his bucket off the Vikings and jerk off to it.
I don't even know what that means.
great burn, Andy.
2003.
I was
who
going to say
on the
Michael
Vikings?
Vick.
Who was on the
McNabb.
Vikings in 2003?
McNabb. Not my Vikings,
Oh,
Eagles.
you did say Vikings.
It's like
but yeah,
Randy
I was wondering.
Moss?
Adrian Peterson?
No,
Hey.
Adrian Peterson wasn't even in the league in 2003.
I was going to bed when you guys called me in this. When Rory called me into this.
We were just
Some
laughing
of us-
at your suggestions. Didn't know if you were being serious or not.
Some of them I was, some of them that I knew about. But like I
Which
said,
ones
I
are
was
you
just driving
confident
and kind of. Let me pull it up if I can. Got all this gay porn that.
We should bring in Andy for like 10 minutes every
episode from-
podcast
exactly.
just to ask him what he knows about sports.
Okay, going through Richard Byrne, Lion Byrne, Stafford Byrne.
You had some good line. You had a really good lion burn, by the way, Andy. I enjoyed that
Thanks.
one.
Let's
I was
see.
golfing.
Okay.
Not paying attention to that nonsense.
He
So
basically compared himself to the Lions, his
first-
fantasy football skills.
the first stat I see has a ginormous red wiener and balls, which were nicely drawn.
Nicely
That-
drawn though.
That was
So-
that on your phone?
Yeah.
Impressive.
So for Tim, he has Devontae Parker in the 7th round and Derek Carr in the 12th round. I think Derek Carr is a pretty solid pick for a 12th round quarterback.
Derek Carr is not a bad keeper.
I mean, even if you don't plan on being number one, Derek Carr,
I think
he's going to get rushing touchdowns. He's going to get throwing touchdowns.
I think on Fantasy Pros he's going at a 5th or 6th round, so that's a pretty solid value.
But do you know who Devontae Parker is?
Yeah, he's on Miami. I had him last year for a while, I think, or I had him in my other league, my Yahoo league.
And then you
He
dropped
was
him.
supposed to be a lot better than he was.
Yeah, he kept having high projections, and then he just never did anything, and so I dropped him just because he never was getting touchdowns.
Yeah, and he was So
I'm
he's still
looking
got
on
talent.
Site right now. He's
He's
not
got a
even
lot
in
of
the
talent.
top 200.
Sounds like a guy you want to build your team around.
Yeah, definitely want to keep that guy. 7th round valuation.
Anyways, moving on with Shane. He has undrafted Dak Prescott, and looks like Michael Floyd at a number 4. I probably wouldn't do that.
The guy that is even on a team.
I don't know if he's even on the team anymore.
He's the one
He
who
was
fell
on New
asleep
England.
in the car because he was so drunk and got cut.
I thought he was on the Vikings.
He was on New England, but I don't know where he's at now.
He's going to go straight to the Raiders with that attitude.
Probably kill it with the Raiders.
Dude, freaking Calvin Johnson, coming out of retirement to play on the Raiders with freaking Marshawn Lynch.
Yes.
I wouldn't even be that mad.
We already-
I'd be a
How
little
can you-
bit irritated, but I'd
We
How
already
can you
talked a
not be
little
a
bit
Raiders
about
fan at this point?
me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or you just gonna be
moving
like,
to Las Vegas.
they're like my
Calvin
second team.
Johnson.
They're like firmly my second team now.
oh,
Congrats.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of your standings with what teams you like.
Yeah, I grew up in Vegas. Give me a break.
Well, I thought you were gonna be, I'm still a fat boy. I don't like the Raiders.
Lions aren't that bad, guys. They went to the playoffs 4 years.
Oh, Matthew Stafford, I love you. Oh.
I would say that to him.
So on Lance's team, I didn't have anybody. He kind of has a crappy situation.
Yeah, Lance's is bad.
Lance is probably the worst. I mean, Spencer Ware, 13th round. That's not terrible.
Thing is, he has a lot of good players. He just the value that you could get for him.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of Todd Gurley? Just keeping him as a number 1. Is that a number 1? Is he a
No.
first
I mean,
round pick?
talent-wise,
No.
he's up there, but
So, I mean, because he has, 3 people in the first round that he can't pick, and then he has 3 defenses. I mean, that's half your team right there. So, plus 2 kickers, 1 kicker?
I don't know why
Lan-
he's. Yeah.
So, Rory, I don't know anybody on his team other than Cam Newton.
How do you know the freaking Cowboys Beasley, but you don't know
And you know,
the
Devontae
running
Parker,
back?
like their 3rd string wide receiver.
How do you not know Ezekiel Elliott?
DeAndre
Wait.
Hopkins, Mike Evans,
Oh, yeah, you have. I didn't see you had Ezekiel.
Alshon
Was that-
Jeffrey, Jameis Winston, Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones
Yeah.
was in the league and yards after like 5 weeks.
And
I
then
would
he
probably
did
keep,
nothing.
if I was Rory, I would keep Ezekiel Elliott for your number 1 pick. That's what I would do. I don't know about the other guys, what their values are.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's see, Robbie Anderson. He's on the Jets. If it costed you your 16th round, I'd maybe keep him. Because the Jets aren't doing shit this year.
Who's Robbie Anderson?
He actually,
Oh, this is amazing analysis, Andy. I love it. Keep it going.
Robbie Anderson actually had the last couple weeks when Decker and Marshall were sitting out. He was actually like their number 1 targeted receiver, but
Really?
he's already like.
You keep
he's
Hill.
out.
Who's even throwing to him, though? Is Fitzpatrick still on the Jets?
No.
No,
Well, I don't think so.
I
That's
think
what I
they're
mean.
gonna-
Quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Everyone keeps saying that the Jets are the worst team in a long time, but I think they're going to win 3 to 5 games. There's no way that they're going to suck as bad as Detroit.
Solid analysis, as Andy. I'm curious. Rookie running backs. Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette.
Okay, let's go from something I know little about to something I know even less about. College football. For people coming right from college.
Yeah, well, they rookies. Leonard Fournette is with the Jaguars. Christian McCaffrey is with the Panthers.
Christian McCaffrey is also white, if that helps your analysis.
Well, is he related to Ed McCaffrey, who is a Bronco
Yes,
legend?
he's his son.
Yes, he is.
Well, I'm going to pick him. Yes.
What about Joe Mixon? He knocked out a woman his freshman year in college. Slapped the shit out of her.
Look at the success of Chris Brown and Ray Rice. Can't deny that. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you beat the shit out of a woman. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm not saying it's the end of your talent career.
Oh man, I don't know why we haven't pulled Andy in on our podcast.
No.
Wait, freaking Jaren's getting Coleman for an 11th round for his fantasy pick?
Yeah, Jaren's got good. Jaren actually has really good keepers.
Man, yeah, he does. Yeah, I would keep Julio Jones and Coleman just like how I picked originally. That's kind of hard though, because I don't know. He's got Andrew Luck at fourth round, which he probably would still be there, 4th round. But
Curious, Grant, Richard, Andy, you can listen to our take on the rookie running backs, and maybe it'll help you in the draft. Where do you guys rank who are your top 3 rookie running backs in fantasy this year?
Well, I did top 5 above and beyond.
Okay.
Fournette, I think you don't draft someone that high and not play him. He's an animal. He's a beast. He reminds me of Adrian Peterson.
He averaged
run over people.
6.8 yards a carry in college.
He's an animal. The only thing is I don't know how good their offensive line is, but he's gonna get the work in. McCaffrey, second. He's super versatile. He's going to play the slot. He's going to play in the backfield. He's going to move around a lot, but I think they're going to want to get him the ball. Dalvin Cook, he's really good.
I thought you had Mixon
can catch the ball out of the backfield. And then I have Mixon. I think Mixon is better than Cook as a player, but Mixon is in a crowded backfield. Hill and Bernard are still going to get work in the Bengals backfield.
Cook is in Minnesota, right? And they just picked up Latavius Murray also.
Yeah.
So. I think Minnesota has good potential, honestly. They had a really good defense last year, and I just think it kind of all fell apart. But I think Minnesota's a team to watch out for. Wouldn't it surprise me if they knocked Green Bay out of the division? Took the division championship?
I would be surprised by that.
I would be surprised.
Well, Green Bay was a shit show last year, and they don't do anything with their free agency.
Sam Bradford is still the Vikings quarterback, so.
What's his name going to be back? Teddy Two Gloves?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that his injury was pretty awful. Apparently, they don't know if he'll ever be back.
I think they're rolling ahead with Bradford still.
Speaking of, the 5th guy I have on the list is actually Jamal Williams, Green Bay's running back.
From BYU?
Yeah. He's like, I watched a few BYU games. That guy's legit. He's like your prototypical running back. He's good. And
he does a little bit of everything.
He did a little bit of everything.
Except he's like 25 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say BYU players are older than everyone else and they have bad knees.
It's the same age as Devontae Booker. I think he's 22. He's 24, maybe. I don't know. But this year, next year, and then the 6th I have is P. Ryan. Is kind of a alternate guy, but I would like to put Mixon higher, but I just think workload wise, Cook's going to get more work out of him. So.
I really like Cook. I mean, you guys know that we talked about it around the draft when I was really hoping the Eagles were going to be able to land him.
We were talking about that so much. I actually thought he was on the Eagles for like a while. Then I had to go look at it, and I was like, wait a second, he's actually on the Vikings.
The Vikings traded up and picked him like 2 picks before the Eagles did because they knew the Eagles were going to take him.
Who did the Eagles get?
In that round, I think they took a wider. No, they took that corner.
You took number 1.
Yeah, I can't remember. In the second round.
Who are your top 5 rookie? Do you think he'll be the best rookie running back this year for fantasy?
No, I'd probably still go with Fournette. Even though I don't trust the Jacksonville offense like at all. He just seems like a stud and has the best opportunity. I would Cook and McCaffrey. I'd probably still give McCaffrey the edge. I think he's going to probably, play a little bit slot, do some running, do some third down duties. But I think Cook is probably, I don't know. If Latavius Murray wasn't there, I think Cook would maybe be at the top of my list. I think he's really good. But
so rank your just go real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Fournette, McCaffrey.
I don't really. Fournette, McCaffrey, Cook. Sure, Mixon.
So same thing as Richard. Well prepared, Grant.
Well, I mean, I didn't know we were doing this. And, I don't really care about rookie running backs. I mean, only like 3 of these guys are going to do anything this year. And
I got my list.
We're gonna drop some knowledge.
And Kareem Hunt. I'm literally reading off a website.
Kareem Hunt, doesn't he? Who did he get drafted by?
From what I'm seeing on this website, Kansas City.
So unlike Richard and Grant's list, I will change things up a little bit.
Mine was different.
Mine's gonna be different too.
I think the guy to watch out for is Samaje Perine this year. I think he's going to tear it up. And then I would go with Fournette and then Cook. I think Fournette. I think Fournette has the size. I mean, he's like 40 pounds heavier than everyone. He's like freaking Eddie Lacy coming in, but maybe
not fat.
But not
right.
Hopefully not like Eddie Lacy.
But maybe he comes in as a fullback, resurrects a position long lost.
What?
Eddie Lacy did have a good rookie year. I'll give him that.
Isn't he in? He's in Seattle now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought instead of beast mode, it's feast mode.
Yeah.
So let me drop some knowledge on you guys.
Wherever they're filming the next biggest
drop your
loser.
knowledge, Rory.
All right. So the question wasn't, who's going to be the best player. It's who's going to be the best fantasy player. I think McCaffrey, hands down, especially in a 0.5 PPR, any PPR, he's going to have more fantasy points than any of the other running backs. So I would take him, just his versatility, being able to, like you said, he's going to line up in the slot. He's going to play running back. He's going to catch it out of the backfield. He'll catch balls as wide receiver. So I like him number 1. I'll go Fournette 2. I have been hearing a lot on our NFL Reddit. They have Joe Mixon going number 1. I have him at 3. I think that they're pretty much done with Jeremy Hill. I mean, he averaged the last 3 years, he hasn't averaged more than 3.8 yards per carry. I think everything I've been reading online from Marvin Lewis and the staff there, they are absolutely in love with Mixon and the way he runs the ball. He also can catch the ball. They still have Giovanni Bernard, so it is a little crowded backfield. But Cook, the thing that scares me, that offensive line was the worst in the NFL possibly last year. I know they picked up a free agent or 2, but I'm not that high on the guys they picked up. And so I don't know. I'm a little more iffy on him. And then number 5, this is a guy that I think has a big potential. And it depends on if somebody gets injured a little bit, but Devontae Foreman out of Texas. Dante Foreman.
Big fat guy.
Who is drafted by the Houston Texans. But if you look at Foreman, I mean, he averaged, he averaged 6.3 yards per carry with 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns last year in college. Ran a 4.5 40. He's a bigger guy. I think.
I actually like Foreman a lot coming out.
I do too. I like him, and I think Miller. He didn't do that great with Houston last year. I think they could kind of move on from him if he underperforms again just early on, or if he gets injured. I think Dante Foreman could be a big time player in the NFL and in a pretty decent situation in Houston. So those are my top 5.
I mean, to talk about Fournette versus McCaffrey, I don't know if this is necessarily a crutch argument, but I think McCaffrey might be hurt by touchdown vultures, being Cam Newton and Jonathan Stewart might get that goal line work. Whereas I don't know if McCaffrey's going to get that work inside the 5.
Do you think McCaffrey will spend his first year just doing special teams?
No, he was a first-round pick, so he's definitely going to get playing time at both running back and wide receiver, and he will return punts and kicks. Though I imagine it's.
Oh yeah, he'll for sure be returning. Well, they have Curtis Samuel too, who they drafted out of Ohio State. And he's no joke.
Because McCaffrey's not super fast, is he, compared to other people?
He's
fast.
It's like a 4.48.
That's fast.
That's pretty
fast.
Well, it's fast compared to us, but yeah.
Well, it's not fast compared to like a top end wide receiver, but anything under 4.5 is pretty fast.
And he's quicker. Like he's fast, but he's fast enough. But I'd say he's like really agile. Is what
It's not his top line speed, but he's runs great routes.
Enough. I mean, 4.4 is fast enough. I'd say.
Yeah. But he doesn't make his money from just his top end speed. It's his agility, his footwork's awesome, his route running is incredible.
And Andy, since you love the McCaffrey so much, his other brother is going to Michigan play quarterback.
I have to shun him for that. So, can we talk about something that's been on my mind?
Yeah, I would love to hear what's on your mind, Andy.
What goes through Andy Beardall's mind? We don't know.
We have to end this.
This could go a lot of different directions.
It's her 4th studio album, Lust for Love, Lana Del Rey, and she thinks it's the end of America. Your opinions, thoughts?
On Lana Del Rey or it being the end of America?
Her opinion. What's your thoughts on her opinion of this?
I have no idea.
It's the end of America?
We should get Dax on here. He likes Lana Del Rey.
I don't mind Lana Del Rey. I don't know anything about this whole political thing, but
it's kind of just that popular thing to go to the extremes right now.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I didn't even know about that.
If she didn't go political and just popped a boob out, we'd be talking about her a lot more, right?
At least you would.
Andy, was there any bets that you didn't like? What were some bets that happened in the last year of fantasy football? Did you have like 3 side bets going on? What were the results of those?
Nothing was memorable enough for me to remember, Richard. Okay.
Well, I know, but I just remember you making side bets with people constantly. I just want to know how those turned out.
I learned my lesson because I have not won one in like 2 years.
Did you have one with Grant?
Yeah. I think we're double or nothing, right, Grant? Or triple or nothing?
I think you actually – I beat you the first time, and I think I let you go double or nothing. I think you actually ended up beating me. But that might be the season before. I can't remember.
That sounds about right. Either way, I'm sure I don't owe you any money.
I just know I've been in this league for like 4 or 5 years now, and you have not made the playoffs once.
Look, I thought we were just having a good time. Personal, and cut me down like that. Listen, I could come out and promise you this and that, but in all reality, if I'm not bottom 4, we're calling it a win, right?
Yes. If you make the playoffs, Andy, that is
what kind of? Well, I want you to get like if I don't make the play, if I don't make the playoffs again this year in fantasy football, I will do blank.
You want me to make a statement?
Yeah, like say it sounds like you're pretty confident you're making the playoffs this year.
No, I said I just don't want to be in the bottom 4.
Yeah, which is making the playoffs.
Oh, that's all I got to do.
He doesn't want to, but he wasn't confident that he would be.
Andy, how confident are you that you're going to make the playoffs this year?
I give myself a 33.3 repeating chance of making the playoffs.
33%.
That's actually pretty high.
I got a 1/3 chance.
I mean, statistically, I have a 2/3 chance, but I mean,
yeah, but well,
but what are you gonna do? I mean, Andy, yes, that's about half that.
Let's not jump to conclusions.
If you take the 2/3 chance that he really has, but the 0% chance that he's made it in the last 5 years and average, then it's a third. So it works out.
Can't let
No, I just wanted to get Andy saying I will if I don't make the playoffs, I'm gonna eat. I don't know. Yeah, I'm
Ooh, I
gonna
don't
drink a
eat
whole
things.
gallon of milk.
Oh no, I barf too easy. Well, I already have a pink shirt that says I suck at fantasy football.
Doesn't Dax have to have that?
Yeah, sucker.
Wait,
Um,
are you guys both coming to the draft?
I am.
I'll be there.
Grant?
I have to see. I think so, but I have to see.
I want a commitment. I'm flying all the way
Try.
back from Vietnam for the draft.
Well, you'd be flying back anyways. It's where you live.
But I'm doing it for the draft.
Reeking
All
of
right, well,
freaking
I'm gonna try.
Asian boy sex.
Yeah, I have noticed Richard has a common theme in all of his vacations these days.
Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia.
The whores are cheap and the whores have wieners. Hey, sign me up. I'm down. Richard, you just got to ask. But regarding what I would do so what do you want? If I win?
I just want something so that when you don't make the playoffs, you
I
have to do something embarrassing.
Like you eat a crayon or you'll shove a crayon
If
up
you
your
give
butt,
me
or-
if you give me something along the lines like if I win, what will you three do? And then I'll
Okay.
match
If
whatever.
you win this, if you win the league,
Yeah, if I win the league,
if
you
win the
three.
league, let's do it. And then
Okay.
so the thing is, if we win, if you win the league, if we all have to do something, but if you don't make the playoffs, you have to do it.
Let's table
Right.
this. Let's
But-
think about this for the next podcast. We'll come up with good things. Andy, we'll give you some time to think about what you'll do, and the three of us will come up with something we'll do if you win the league, and we'll invite you back next week.
Well, what's the theme? Are we going homosexual, genital mutilation?
Well, we gotta make it a punishment, Andy, not like something that you enjoy.
Well, here's a problem. True. How do I know that you guys won't collude against me like I think you have for the last 4 years? I think it's one big fucking game.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's exactly what we've been doing.
We just take turns winning.
We need to figure out a way to make Andy not win.
Oh man,
Tim ruined it.
stupid Andy. He's so handsome and good looking, and he fucks our moms. Let's get back at him and not let him win. Let's give him bad advice.
Let's trade our crappiest players to him for
His best
quality
players.
starters.
Hey, let's not bring that up.
Thank you again for
Terrence
that
Williams for
2014 championship.
Yeah, Team Dickbeard. You do have half a championship, Richard.
Yeah, that's
Andy.
true.
You
That's
have
true.
half a championship in spirit, so you can think about
It's like a child that we both neglect.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, I gotta go to bed. I got an early morning meeting, so it's been real. We'll do this next week. Have a good
All
one.
right. See ya.